Imagine selling Fred. Imagine wanting to improve on the team, on the midfield. You want to add more energy. You want to add more power. You want to add more strength, stamina. But of course, you want to add additional technical ability to the team as well. We are all on board with Fred and McTominay leaving. But to go out and consider Højbjerg instead of Gravenberch, instead of Amrabat, is mind-boggling to me. Genuinely. Ten Hag, please, I beg you, stop the embarrassment.
How dare you?
Look, it's been a weird summer for us so far as Man United fans. Some excellent links, some very good signings. I think Højlund, I think Onana are going to be stars for the football club. The jury is massively out on Mason Mount. But the last week or so, it's starting to become an embarrassment. Now, some Man United fans may say, Terry, stop being so reactionary. You're going over the top. It's not an embarrassment. What are you saying? Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, decent. But Scott McTominay's decent. Fred was decent. And if we're going to sell players and upgrade, we have to upgrade. There has to be a genuine upgrade. You know? Not going from a Ford Fiesta to a Vauxhall Corsa. Same, but different. It's embarrassing. And some people will say it's only a link. I think Man United are genuinely trying to get him. I know the talent idea of Ten Hag's being called into question. And look, this is typically what happens. If it's an ex-player or a player that's kind of connected to the Ajax or Munich or a player he's managed before, if people like him, so like Gravenberch, I haven't seen anybody question the talent ID when it comes to Gravenberch. I didn't see any questions of the talent ID when it came to Frankie de Jong, when it came to Onana, because they're generally speaking, they're universally respected players. When it's other individuals, for instance, right now, Højbjerg, initially when it was Lisandro Martinez, there was a question mark. Can Ten Hag spot talent that he hasn't already used at other clubs? Now, we know that he has. He's never used Mason Mount before, Malacia before, of course, Casemiro before, Rasmus Højlund. So there's a number of players that that we've purchased, permanent signings that he has not used or had before. So it's a little bit exaggerated, but I understand the question marks. But this is more about there's two things going on here at Man United that make this embarrassing. And I need Ten Hag to stop it. Ten Hag has got to put his foot down with a firm hand. Danny Devil in the details, one of the best Man United minds out there, put a tweet out yesterday that was so spot on. And he basically said, if Man United fans are deluded, and I'm paraphrasing here, but if Man United fans are deluded enough to believe that the club has to sell to buy, you're crazy. And I agree with him. And I know I've done shows where I've said Man United have got to sell to buy, not through necessity per se, but through demand of the Glazers. Can we go and spend like Chelsea have in the last couple of years? No. Do we have a bottomless pit of money? Absolutely not. There are financial restraints, but not to the degree where we can't get Gravenberch on loan and Amrabat over the line. They should have been our priorities before Mason Mount. They're better than him. That element I put on the manager. The financial capping that the board have put in place, I put on them. This is a two-way street. It's a double-edged sword. There's blame on all sides here. But if we walk away, the manager's got to stop the embarrassment. But if he ends up going for Højbjerg, who is not an improvement on McFred, over that of Amrabat and Gravenberch, I'm going to question it massively. And it doesn't matter if I'm an advocate of Ten Hag, think he's a brilliant manager, think that he could go on to be a great manager with the right support. That, for me, is as big a clanger as signing Mason Mount. He is not good enough to move the needle enough. He is not good enough. And then you look at the left back situation. Cucurella, Marcus Alonso, Tagliafico. I can't even say his name. Tagliafico. Now, again, he played for the manager before, so the talent ID question comes out. I'm not worried about that. He ain't good enough. Marcus Alonso, it's not good enough. This is like, I know it's makeshift. Shaw will be back, but when I read a report today that Shaw's got real problems with muscle deterioration in the leg in the leg that he broke, and there's problems there with the amount of football he's played. So this could be a long-term issue, and his body's been poor for years anyway in terms of injuries. Marcos Alonso wasn't good enough for Chelsea. He's been a year at Barcelona. If they're willing to let him go straight away, what does that tell you? Absolute no. Cucurella, listen, said it yesterday. 80% of me says no. 20% of me thinks, could we get him back to his best? Could we get him back to his Brighton best? Maybe. A big risk. Then there's links to Rico Henry. That's it. Now, I understand Cucurella can sometimes come in and play in a centre-back role. He's done it before. Maybe that's what we're looking at here profile-wise. That makes sense. But equally, West Ham have come back in for Harry Maguire. And reports are the club are going to say no to it. We're going to say no. What happened to Todibo? What happened? I know Pavard's gone now, but we wanted a replacement a week ago. Now we don't. What are we doing? I know Varane's just reportedly picked up another injury. Again, Clanger's being dropped by the club. We haven't bought a centre-back. So now we might end up in a situation where we keep Maguire, he's got so many errors in him, and you bring in Cucurella with a 20% chance you get him back to his Brighton best. When actually we should be going out now as a club and saying, Rico Henry, boom. Todibo. And by the way, keep Maguire if you want to keep him, but add Todibo on top. If you want that extra body, do it, but add Todibo on top. Maguire knows the pecking order. He turned down the move. He could have gone weeks ago. He decided not to. Let him live by that decision. Let him train with the under 21s. I don't care. Keep him here in case he's needed if you really want the bodies. But do that. The midfield. Get Gravenberch, get Amrabat. I'm telling you now, I genuinely mean this. This isn't going to happen, but it should. If Man United went out today and bought Rico Henry, Todibo, Gravenberch, and Amrabat, and added those 4 players to our squad, McTominay leaves, Maguire goes, that team suddenly has more size, more technical ability, more speed, plus a much higher level of technical ability throughout. Much higher. So I need to say this honestly. And look, by the end of the window, I might sit back. Friday will come and I'll be like, you know what? Actually, things weren't too bad. Things went okay. Maybe I shouldn't have panicked. I don't even feel like I'm panicking personally. My feeling is, it may appear like I am. I feel embarrassed. I feel genuinely embarrassed at how our summer is shaping up and the direction of which it is going in. Because I feel like our squad, due to this potential long-term injury to Shaw, more and more injuries creeping in for Varane, Højbjerg coming in for Fred, who isn't any better, I feel like we've stood still. Barring Onana and Højlund. So the 2 positions I think we may have strengthened this year. It's not enough. It's not a big enough jump. All the other deals will be very much makeshift. And of course, we can demand more from last season's signings. We can demand players that are already here, like Sancho as an example, improve. And maybe that will help us. But the needle has not been moved enough. And I feel like as a club, and some of this is on Ten Hag, some of this is on the board, I feel like we're cheating the process. We're cheating the process of building a team good enough to topple Manchester City. Some of that is financial restraints. Some of that is legacy issues from the past. Some of that is this nonsense that's been put upon our manager of you've got to sell before you buy at this stage of a rebuild. But there are also parts of it where I look at the manager and think, why Mount? Why Højbjerg now? Why are you looking at Alonso? Why are we now refusing to sell Maguire when supposedly a deal was done behind the scenes of Todibo? Now, listen, some will say, I don't even know who Todibo is. Is he even good enough? It can't be worse than Maguire is for us. Now, some will say, Terry, you think Maguire will do well when he leaves? I do. I think when the pressure of playing for Man United is taken away from him, remember, it's the most pressured club in the world to play for. There's more pressure at United than any other club in England anyway. There's a lot of pressure at Real Madrid. I understand that. Barcelona too. Probably Bayern Munich. But in England, there's no club like it. And we've seen that in the last three opening games. In Man United's 3 games, there's been refereeing and penalty controversy in every single game. Onana in the first. 2 penalties for Man United on Palestri and the handball from Romero in the second game against Spurs. And in the last game, the red card for the Forest defender and the Rashford penalty. And how do we know the scrutiny at Man United is higher than anywhere else? The decisions that benefited Man United have had 3 to 4 to 5 days of continual debate across multiple platforms. The 2 decisions that you could argue cost Manchester United the game, 0 debate. 0, especially after 24 hours later, nobody cared. The level of scrutiny at this club is higher. So I believe Maguire, when he leaves this chasm, this cauldron of controversy, criticism, and pressure, will thrive. But at Man United, he's done. He is finished. We need these players out. We need new bodies in if we want to try to catch City. If not, look, we could still make the top 5. We could still pick up a trophy this year. But if we are not progressing towards winning the league titles, that means nothing to me. It means nothing. I don't want to tread water for a year. Viewers, listen, hit the like and the share button. I always ask you to do that for the terrace. I want your opinions on this. But I'll say the message again I said at the beginning. Please, Ten Hag, stop the embarrassment. Let's get proper business done, eh? Let's do it.